as soon as I looked at his eyes, I was like, this guy's like dangerous. This is Saudi Arabia. Like, this is not gonna go anywhere on the news. Like, it's gonna be just kept secret. It happens to like a bunch of SWs, anyone who does like only and like all that stuff. Like, you end up becoming like a sex symbol like in other countries.
In that moment, were you thinking, I regret being here? I regret doing this work? What were your thoughts, as you saw your life flash before your eyes?
I took off my ribs already, so...
Wait, I thought you said last time that you had gotten your ribs crushed inwards, but you were debating whether you wanted to get them removed. I just Instagrammed a clip a couple weeks ago, and the comments saying you're a monster, saying that you should die, saying that they want to kill you themselves. Like, when you see those comments, how do you feel? I do read a lot of comments saying that you should spend your money on therapy instead. Are you in therapy?
Your problem with me is not my problem. You can do whatever you want with your little own mental state of mind. I'm fine.
Wait. Hello.
Hi, how can I help you?
I'm going to see 1111.
What's your name?
Matthew or Matt Cullen.
What floor? What room is it?
11.
1111?
Yep.
Okay, be to your right when you go.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Hi.
How are you?
You don't look any older. You look
That's,
even younger.
Oh my gosh, you always pick the most gorgeous places. What?
Like, today's media day, so we're gonna go like all out, and you caught me between like a little photo shoot, so that's why I'm like waist training a little bit before I was so uncomfortable. I can see the comments already. This bitch looks so uncomfortable. I am uncomfortable.
Does it feel tight?
Yeah, it's like super tight. I took off my ribs already, so...
Wait, I thought you said last time that you had gotten your ribs crushed inwards, but you were debating whether you wanted to get them removed.
And I decided I'm not gonna do that because it's actually insane.
Right now, with them being crushed inside, if you were to like go for a run or something, like, do you have full lung capacity?
I think so. Maybe I'm just like fat and like just like out of breath all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, you're so fat.
Yeah, I'm fucking like crazy fat right now.
So,
I actually am, like, compared to what I normally look like.
really?
Yeah.
She getting thick?
She is getting thick.
Does she like it?
She does not like it. I'm like, no, I don't like it. But yeah, I always like do a little corset before like my photo shoots and like media stuff. So
Thank you so much for doing this again. I feel like you're maybe the second or third person at most that's been on my channel 3 times. And
the first.
Mousy, who is iconic in my series. Everyone that watches my show will know who Mousy is. And then just a couple other people at the beginning of my series that I had back on numerous times. But you've really been part of my show and really made a mark on my show. You have the most viewed episode by far. People are just fascinated with you. And so am I.
Yeah, I don't blame them. No, I'm kidding.
I just Instagrammed a clip a couple weeks ago and it has over 5 million views. And the comments are wild. It's like saying you're a monster, saying that you should die, saying that they want to kill you themselves. Like, when you see those comments, how do you feel?
Since before any of these videos that have gone out, like I've thought on them since like a long time ago. I hate saying the word I'm trying to like media train myself to not say the word but I know this stuff. I'm self-aware. As much as people don't want to like think that I'm self-aware, like I know I have big lips, that they're like almost like monstrous like lips. That's my style. Your problem with me is not my problem. You can do whatever you want with your little own mental state of mind. I'm fine. I'll keep it moving. Like, just push your comments and whatever.
I do read a lot of comments saying that you should spend your money on therapy instead. Are you in therapy?
I am not in therapy. I do think everyone should be in therapy if they need it. In my head, when I see comments saying go to therapy, I'm like, girl, we all need therapy regardless if you look like this. I just think I'm just more of an easy target because I physically look different. So it just looks like I have like more stuff going in my head. But what a lot of people don't realize, I have the same exact mindset as other people. The only difference is that I'm just physically differently. So I just look like, oh, this person's more like effed up. I'm just like, are you like in physical therapy? Physical therapy. What is it called?
Just regular therapy.
Regular therapy. Yeah.
So you have this place for the night. You're gonna take a bunch of content and stuff too, like fans and stuff, or what?
Yes. OnlyFans, and then some photography for like Instagram, and just like, you know, figure it out from there.
Yeah, because I know how you do it. Like you plan out your.
I do everything in one day. I hate doing like separately. I like
It's
doing
smart.
everything in one day, just edit for the rest of the week.
Yep,
Yeah.
I love that. Consolidate so you can scale ready for one day, get it all in there, book the hotel for one night, and then you're good.
Girl, exactly. So I literally showed up like to the hotel with like a bunch of like my makeup done already and like my outfit like already ready or whatever.
Before we did our interview today, you had mentioned that you're rebranding.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
Of course. So
Well, I want to ask you because, my audience knows who you are. My audience knows what you did or do for a living. And when we did our first interview, you had said, you're getting your work done to look like a sex cyborg. And that was really your mission. And you felt like when you walked down the street, everybody could just tell automatically what you do for a living. And that's what you liked.
yeah.
And now you look the same way, but you don't want to talk about that stuff and you want to rebrand. What's the reason for that?
When our first episode, I did not have even like a YouTube account. So it was just more of like, oh my God, I'm talking to a microphone. Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, this is so awkward. I don't know what to talk about. But now it's just like, okay, like I can eloquate. I don't know what the fuck that word actually means. So maybe I can't. But eloquate like my sentences more correctly. I can like self-speak. I can actually like say what I mean without saying something that I'm just throwing out in the internet and then just like for that to explode. Like, hold on. Like, what? I look like a fucking ant. In a good way.
You've been traveling a lot, you said.
Yes. Literally in the last like 6 months, I've barely been home. Like I literally just moved back to LA and I've already been to like Saudi Arabia. I went to Bahrain. I went Qatar for like 2 minutes. I went to Paris, London, South Carolina. I went to Miami. I went to New York. I went to, no, I'm kidding. But literally everywhere else. But,
Wild.
yeah.
Because I thought about you because you do talk about your travels and a lot of times you talk about openly what you're doing while you're traveling to these places. That if you go back to those places, are you ever scared they're going to recognize you from the interviews and know what your gig is?
So that actually did happen to me in Bahrain. I was going through customs and the guy that I got, he literally pulled me aside and he was just like, oh, like come over here. And I was like, okay, like this is kind of weird. Like I already paid for my visa. I already paid for this and that, like just whatever. When I'm not wearing makeup, I like to wear a mask because I've had a lot of issues where like a lot of people just want to come up to me and like ask for pictures, which is fine. You can do that. But when I don't wear makeup, I'm like, just don't bother me. I don't want pictures of me without like makeup and like looking like crap out on the internet. He was like, take your face mask off. And I was like, okay. And I took it off and he would look at like my passport and he'd go over to his friend and he would like show it to them. And I was like, oh my God, these guys are like some like homophobic, like maybe like some crazy people who maybe just saw me online and they're like, let's take this kid back to USA, whatever.
That's terrifying.
I was not terrified though, surprisingly. So literally I just walked in over that, like when they took me to the office, like they were like, oh, come over here. And I just walked over there like this. And I was like, what do you need? Like literally, I don't know what the hell was going on, but in my head, whatever. They gave me the visa. They looked at me. All they wanted to do was look at my lips. They didn't do like anything like crazy. They just wanted to look at my lips without the mask or whatever. And eventually the guy ended up like escorting me straight out to my luggage. And by the time I got to my luggage, he was like, hey, like, I follow you on YouTube. Like, I love all your travels. Like, you're amazing. Like, I love you. Like, can you please give me like your phone number and all this stuff? And I was like, girl, I thought you were trying to kill me or something. Like,
Did you give him your number?
I gave him my Snapchat.
How many phone numbers do you have?
I have 3 right now. Saudi Arabia was one of my goals, and I was like gonna check it off my list or whatever. He came up to like my front gate of my door in Saudi Arabia, and it was metal. The gate was metal, so like he was just like knocking on it like super hardcore. And I was like, oh my gosh, like literally I'm gonna get sent to jail. Oh my God, what can I do? I started calling out my friends and I was like, oh my God, like literally I'm so scared. I've never been terrified in my life because I was like, I'm in Saudi Arabia. If I get locked up in Saudi Arabia,
Oh my God.
that's the end of me. My friend said not to open the door. Me being me, I don't pay attention to anyone. So I was like, okay, yeah, like, yeah.
You opened the door.
Fuck what you said. I opened the door. My heart like was like pounding. And as soon as I opened the doors, he literally pushes me back, like literally like physically like pushes me back like this.
Oh no.
And he closes the door right behind me, and he like shuts the door like super close, and he like locks the door, and he's just like, I'm smiling right now, but it was like super like traumatic at the moment. He was just like, oh, like I really want you right now. And I was like, no, like baby, let's just take a picture. Like you just wanted a picture, like let's get the picture and get you going. And he was just like, no, like I want more than that. And mind you, this was all through like translate, like Google Translate. As soon as I looked at his eyes, I was like, this guy's like dangerous. I can tell like right away. I don't know what he's gonna do, but I know he's not good news. And literally he went up to me and he was just like, he started like touching me like all this stuff. I was like, okay, babe, like just take the picture and like you can go. Like he literally like pulled his hands like down like my pants and everything, and he like started like trying to touch me. And that was my first time ever like having anyone like try something like super insane with me, like R-word me, which sounds super serious, but I feel like I've been through so many of those. Like I'm a SW, so like I'm kind of numb to most of the stuff. So I was just like, oh my gosh, like this it's gonna happen this time. Like it's gonna happen. Either I'm gonna get like, I don't know, murdered, or I don't know, maybe they just like R-worded and like whatever.
That's so scary.
It was,
especially in Saudi Arabia.
this is Saudi Arabia. Like this is not gonna go anywhere on the news. Like it's gonna be just kept secret, and I'm just gonna be like suffering like mentally, like oh my gosh. And he like grabbed me from my neck and he puts me up like against the wall and like just like starts like getting me, like I don't know why I'm showing it on you, but he starts like getting me, like goes like this. I was like, this is it. I know it's gonna happen eventually. It was gonna happen to like a bunch of, it happens to like a bunch of like SWs, anyone who does like only and like all that stuff. Like you end up becoming like a sex symbol like in other countries.
In that moment, were you thinking like, I regret being here, I regret doing this work? What were your thoughts, you know, as you saw your life flash before your eyes?
I came to the self-realization of like, okay, stop calling your friends. What do you in your heart believe that should happen? He like eventually like sat down. He was like, oh, like just sit like on my lap or whatever. And I was like, oh my god, like it's gonna happen right now. Like just brace yourself. Literally, I prayed to God. I was like, this better not be like the time that I'm like traumatized. I don't ever want to be traumatized. Like this better not be it, especially in Saudi Arabia. I don't want to be like locked up. I literally prayed to God like that before I even sat on his lap, and I was like, this better be like, save me, save me, save me, save me. If there's any time to save me, it's right now. I sat on his lap, fully clothed. He was fully clothed too. Luckily, by the grace of God, as soon as I sat on his lap, I don't want to sound too like R-rated, but he like milked.
Really?
Yeah. And his jeans.
Thank God.
Anything else could have happened. Like could have been like bleeding. I could have like anything else in the world could have happened. And yeah, I felt saved. He still threatened me though. Like afterwards, he was like, "Oh, I'll be back for you tomorrow." And he did it with like that face. He was like, "I'll be back for you tomorrow." I still had like a little panic attack because I was like, "Oh my gosh, like that's gonna be crazy." Because I have this place for like a whole another week. So I was just like, I need to leave. I don't know what the hell is gonna happen after this. So I flew to Qatar to like try to like evade the situation.
First of all, I'm so glad that you're okay, and thank God for pre-ejaculation, because it could have been a much different story.
Yeah. This smile is only because like I'm literally like so like numb to all this stuff. It's not like just because I'm trying to like avoid. Like I'm just literally personally like numb to this stuff. You guys might think I'm crazy, but like a lot of people who work in this industry are also numb. This is like my like experience as someone who has like a following. This is not like a Saudi Arabia like hate train. I still love Saudi Arabia. I'm still gonna visit. Like this is just what happened to me, and I'm trying to explain it for like an interview, like explain it for like a podcast.
I don't think it's not coming across like you're talking Saudi Arabia at all. It's just a specific incident that happened. That could happen in LA. That could happen in New York. That happened in Saudi Arabia. Wherever, you know.
This thing could happen anywhere, but it just so happened to happen to me for the first time ever in my own personal life in Saudi Arabia.
You know, the first episode, the title of it was "What Really Happens in Dubai," and that brought so many clicks. It has like over two. It's my most viewed episode by far. People are fascinated with Dubai and what happens in Dubai with people that are going there to get hired to do whatever. Have you been back to Dubai since we last spoke?
I have not been to Dubai at all because, to be honest, I'm gonna keep it 100% real right now. I was just speaking because I was like, oh my gosh, like it's just like a cute little interview, like podcast type of thing. So I was like, maybe like 50,000 views or something like that. And then it got like over like a million views.
It has over 2 million now.
It has over more. It has more than like 2 million views. So I was like, oh my god, like I don't know if I can go back to like Dubai like for a while. Like let me just relax and like all this stuff. But I'm planning on going this year and enjoying myself. And then whatever happens, happens. You don't really see a lot of like this over there. So it's just more about like, oh my god, this person's like in Dubai, this person's in Oman, this person's in Jordan, this person's in Egypt, this person's in Singapore. It's just more like, oh, this person's around. Like, let me just fly them over.
So someone will pay for you to fly, and then you're kind of like the sugar baby situation?
I wouldn't say a sugar baby. It's more like about an experience. Because if we're being honest, you can get like a sugar baby anywhere. Like, there's probably sugar babies already in Dubai. There's 100% sugar babies in Dubai. I think it's more about the experience, in my opinion. You're paying more for the experience.
Is the money better there than it is in the States?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think all the rich princes and stuff will just throw it on whatever if they're going to get what they want to get.
From my past experience, it's a lot more cheaper than what everyone thinks. Maybe they can exaggerate, but it's not as crazy as everyone thinks it is.
Do you have sex a lot?
I do not. To be honest, I have less sex than people who don't even like do sex work. I do sex work and I have a lot less sex than people who don't do sex work. I'm not more like of a hookup culture. I'm not a hookup culture person. If you want to hook up, we're gonna film this crap. I don't do like just like random hookups. I'm not that type of person. I like to get to know you, who you are.
I think this side of you is a way into who you actually are. Like that's why I feel like we've talked about it numerous times. It's because like your intimate side of you and the way that you don't just have sex with people unless it's for work, like it's real, I think, because I think a lot of people feel scared to have sex. You're scared to get emotionally attached to somebody? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that. Yeah, I will admit. I get emotionally attached to like just anyone, but like if they actually give like I don't know, like go all the way, then like I will officially actually get attached.
I'm not a hookup person either. When I have sex with somebody, it's because I actually have feelings about them, and I do find myself after having sex with them thinking about them the next day, thinking about when they're going to text me. It can be very exhausting and a bit scary because all of a sudden my heart's involved and I'm worried I'm going to get hurt, and it's very distracting for my work and for other things. So I could see why you would feel like I'm putting a stop to that.
My thing is more like I don't enjoy like just hookup culture. So it's like if you want to hook up with me, like I literally have to be into you. Like I'm not gonna be giving up myself and like be vulnerable just for like some random ass person who just wants to be in my life for like one night. My ex actually texted me today, and I haven't talked to him for like 6 years, maybe even 10 years.
What do you say?
He broke up with me originally because I started doing like more of my spicy website. So he was like, "Oh, I can't be dating a person who does this," and I was like, "Oh, okay, like whatever, like bye, like you're not gonna be part of my life." He ended up doing it too, and he was just like, "Oh, like, can we meet up tonight?" And I was like, "No, like, I kind of want to film. Like, I don't want to like do this like a casual hookup." I want to say manipulation, but it's not manipulation. I think it's just regular life, and I just see it as manipulation just because I'm coming from a world that's based just around like SW. So I've just become more numb to this stuff. Like, I'm just like, let's get to the point. I don't want to do like regular talk. I just want to get straight to the point and just, what do you want?
Yeah, but with an ex-boyfriend, there's those feelings. There's those feelings coming back from when you had those feelings for him. You didn't feel it at all?
No,
Do you want to hook up with him to see what it's like?
no.
Because you think he would just be using you and you would be left feeling empty inside.
I think I'm speaking more for like more people that are like in my industry. That is just like after being it for a while, you kind of just want to like get straight to the point versus like actually talking to the person. Like he tried talking to me for like a little bit, but I'm just like, I get so many of these messages that are just like, I want to get to know you. Like, oh my gosh, like, what did you do today? Like, which sucks because, like, that's normal human nature. Like, we just want to get to know each other, all this stuff. Everyone else that does, like, SW is gonna know that they're like feeling the same way. They're very numb to it. It's your everyday lifestyle. Like, people who sell cars eventually, like, just know how to, like, disassociate and just sell cars naturally. Like, they don't even have to, like, think about it. Just their own person.
On the way here, I was thinking about this because I'm 34 and late. Is that old, right?
I thought you were younger.
How old do you think I
You
was?
look younger, like my age.
How old are you? Yeah, and I'm 34, and lately I've been in this chapter of my life where I'm like, okay, Matt, like, think about what you want in the next 5 years of your life. If you want a relationship, I definitely want a family. I've always wanted to be a father. I envision my life in a house, like things that I'm like, okay, I need to start putting time into that aspect of my life because that's also what I care about is like finding a partner, et cetera, et cetera. In our last interview, you had talked about how you envision your life with a partner and, living maybe on a farm somewhere or whatever. How do you see your life in the next 5 years? Do you see you finding that person? Or are you still in this hustle and you're still going to be fine doing this hustle in the next 5 years?
No, I thought about already like detransitioning. Oh my god, girl. Okay. Like
There's a title.
I'm like yeah. I'm like there's another one. I thought about like the bimbo-fying myself, less lip, less like in your face, like less just all that stuff, and just like finding my middle state husband that I can just like be myself.
But how are you planning to find the man if you're not wanting to date or meet guys if there's not a dollar sign attached?
I'm opening up a little bit, but again, it is hard. When people know you like this, it's just like, oh, like this person only wants like money, which I do. Like, girl, why would you want to date a bum? Like, let's be realistic. No one wants to date a bum. No one wants to date anyone that like has like less money. And even if like, let's say you were my dad, why would you want me to date someone who makes like less, not even less money, but who has like less aspirations than me?
I don't think money's everything to do with it. I think for me, it's like money has nothing to do with it, but as long as someone has a drive and a passion and works hard, then I'm okay with them, still chasing their dreams. I wouldn't want someone who just sits around all day and there's unemployed and they're just watching TV while I'm off hustling. But like if someone has a dream and they're working towards it and they're passionate, like those are things that I'm really attracted to. But I'm not asking for you to date someone poor, but I'm just asking how are you going to find a partner if you're not willing to open up your heart?
I think I will know once I see it. And then I think the person will know once they see me as well.
This to me is who you are. So if you were to meet him, you said I would de-bimbify myself and meet a man, but then would that be who you are, or would you be changing who you are to be with a man? Wouldn't you want to find a man who loves this because this is who you are?
That's the issue. People think it's always for a man. It's never for a man. What I think of myself right now is that this is a phase that I'm going through, that I've been going through for like 10 years, 15 years. I'm being realistic. Like, yeah, maybe this is just a phase, like whatever. Maybe it's a phase. Who knows?
That's interesting. This is new information for me. It's interesting to hear that you could potentially see your life not looking like this in 5 years from now.
Khloe Kardashian could dye their hair brown tomorrow. Like, okay, fine, babe. Do whatever you want. Do whatever makes you happy. And I feel like that's probably what's going with me.
Like, I feel like part of your old brand was just kind of like, I'll say whatever the I want to say, and like, I don't care. Like, let's stir the pot. And now it's like, I feel like you are trying to refine yourself and think about what you're talking about, and you're very aware of what the comments are going to be and what people are going to say about it.
I think I'm more aware of like what my words actually affect people. I don't want to give like people the illusion that like just jump to surgery. Like, no, that's not what I'm trying to give out to people.
Do you regret your surgeries?
I don't at all.
So are you scared that you're sending the younger generation who's looking up to you a wrong message?
I do, 100%. I don't want people younger than me feeling like, oh my God, I need to look like this. I get a lot of those comments too, like, oh my God, you're setting like the beauty standard for like the next couple of years and all this stuff. Like, I know it does affect it, but it's just like, if you're into it, you're into it. Like, you don't have to like, do all that like surgery stuff. Beauty goes away. We all end up aging and all this stuff. I just hope the younger crowd doesn't like base their self-worth off looks, because I know I did put that out for like a while.
Very interesting. And every time I talk with you, I get a little deeper into your life and a new layer that I'm never expecting. Like every time I come to meet with you, I'm like, okay, what are we gonna talk about? And there's the obvious stuff, the surgeries, the work of it all, whatever the normal stuff we talk about. And something always happens, and we go on a tangent that leads us in this interesting direction. And I see a human side of you that I love. That I really thank you for opening up and trusting me again with my videos and letting my audience into your life.
Thank God I'm not putting you back, because anyone else that would be able to do this crap, like, they would not have survived the messages that I get.
Thank you so much for today. It's been so wonderful seeing you again, and I just want to continue to get you on my channel. I want you to just be like a constant on my channel, because I feel like every time I see you, I learn something, I grow as a human being, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
So part four coming soon?
Part 4 coming soon.
One of my favorite things about Mateo is his willingness and his daringness to live authentically for himself, despite all the hate that he gets. And as a content creator and as a documentarian, having Mateo on my channel is so great because it causes conversation. You know, some people despise him and despise the choices that he's made in his life and hate him for it, while others, you know, realize that he's a grown adult, and if he's not hurting anybody else, and if these are the choices that he wants to make, then he should do that. One thing about Mateo is he is reliable, and you know, in this work that I'm doing, I have become used to people canceling last minute or rescheduling or ghosting me the day of because they're getting cold feet or whatever the case may be. And with Mateo, he has never once postponed the time, he has never canceled. He always finds these amazing places for us to shoot in that are so cinematic and glitzy and glammy, and he has such a wild and unexpected life that every time I come, I just know that he's gonna have new stories to share to me and to you, and it's always going to be interesting. I am heading to Houston, Texas, and to Nashville, Tennessee at the end of the month, and I am so excited. I've never been to either one of those places, and I'm really curious to see what the queer culture is like in both of those places. I have some amazing stories lined up, but I'm still looking for new stories always. So if you live in either of those cities, or if you know somebody who does, and you think you'd be a good fit for the show, make sure to email me a little bit about yourself and your social media links and what city you live in out of the two, and I'll make sure to get back to you. I actually went to West Hollywood Pride over this past weekend, and it was so much fun, and I just really love going to these queer events because, to be honest, a lot of my life I'm a homebody. I'm just at home editing, watching TV, like hanging out with friends in my home, and I don't really get out of my bubble so much. So when I go to these big events with my community, it's always so refreshing to meet you and, you know, to see that people watch my show, and it just means so much to me. So if you came up to me at West Hollywood Pride, just know that you truly made my day, because it just feels so good to connect with you and to hear what the show means to you, and it just makes me feel so grateful and so motivated and determined to keep going. Sometimes on YouTube it can be hard because you see numbers and you see viewers, but you can't. So much of YouTube is just you're at home and you're editing and you're making thumbnails and you're writing descriptions and you're clipping it down for Instagram, and just a lot of solo work. So to really feel the energy of the people that came up to me and to really realize that people are actually watching, it's hard to put into words what it means. But thank you so much to those who came up to me and said something. I hope you're all subscribed to my channel, and thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week.